Function overloading. Function overloading, it is a kind of a polymorphism. As we have seen, a function, no, a function, single function, which exhibits different behavior in different instances, depends on the input parameters, depends on the input arguments. Okay, so the same way here, function overloading is a programming concept that allows the programmers to define two or more functions with the same name and in the same scope and in the same scope. So by using the same name only, we can write. We can write the functions, but only the inputs will vary. Let's see that with example. Steps in function selection. So when you have functions with the different arguments, so how it is going to select? First one, the compiler tries to identify an exact match in which types of actual arguments are the same and use that function. So when you are using a function and if the arguments are going to be equal in the call statement, so then that particular function will be selected. That will be a straightforward approach. Next thing is, if an exact match is not found, then the compiler uses integral promotions to the actual arguments. Understand? So probably if you are using a character and if there is no character data type is being used in the function arguments, then it's try to convert or promote that character into an integer. Or a float you have used and float is not found, it will automatically promote the float to double and check is there any actual parameters or actual parameter that can find a match. If there is no match, then the things will be different, and if it's a match, then that particular function will be called and made use. When either of them falls, that means your actual arguments also it is not working, and also if it is what to say, promotions, integral promotions also when it is done and still you are not able to find a match, then compiler what it will do, it will try to do the built-in conversions. It will try to convert built-in conversions so to the actual arguments, so that if the matches are found, then that can be used. Okay, so you can see that here built-in conversions, no, by using some parameter, we can do the integer to character or float to character, like that. There are many built-in conversions can be done. That's what by default will be there in the system. So like that, it will try to convert the given data type into another data type and try to find out if there is a match. Okay, so it's totally legal to the system. So whatever that it finds feasible, it will do it and it will try to find a match. If all the steps fail, then compiler will try to use the user-defined conversions. The user might have used some data types, isn't it? In such cases, it will try to find out the user-defined conversions in combination with integral promotions and built-in conversions to find a unique match. Okay, if there is a match, then it is going to be made use. So first thing is what? The first thing is it will try for the actual argument. If actual arguments are satisfied, it will find a match. Then next thing is if the actual argument is not found, then what it will do? It will try to do the integral promotions. So in integral promotion, if it is unable to find out, then it will do built-in conversions. Even in built-in conversions, if unable to do, it will try to convert into a user-defined conversions. Got it? Then if it find a match, it will give. Otherwise, it will result with an error. Okay. Then, now one simple program, let us discuss here. A simple program we will discuss. Finding areas of shapes. Now here, with this itself we can tell which is common, which is different. Very good. Areas are common. Areas are common. Shapes are different. So, in every shape has an area. Got it? But if you look at the formula that is being used for area, for a rectangle we use two parameters called L and B. For a square we use only one argument called A. For a circle we use pi r square, and for a triangle we use half BH. So like this, area is important for every shape, but here the parameter, if you look at it, the parameter is slightly varying all the time, isn't it? So here we are going to write a function overloading program to find out the area of shapes. Let's see how to write it simply. Now, if you look into it, I have written the function prototypes here. First, we'll see the main program, and also then we can do it. Now, before we go to the main program, I want you to see this particular functions, how it's written. Okay, so now we'll write a function to find the area of square, isn't it? How many parameters are required? One parameter is required. So int area, int side, because it's going to return an integer value, so that's why it's written int data type here, and area is the function name. Then within bracket it specifies the argument. Argument is also of what? Integer. So now what this function will do, it will find out a square or side square, isn't it? So how it is written? In return side into side. So this will be returned as an integer data type to the calling program. Next, for a rectangle. For rectangle we need how many arguments? Two arguments are required. So area and two arguments of integer. Integer length, integer breadth. Okay. So what is the formula? L into B. So you can write this expression, length into breadth. Then return the value of the product to the calling program as an integer data type. Now you see that our area of circle it's a pi r square, isn't it? Pi r square. So pi is a constant value. Then r is a variable. How many variables? Only one variable is required. So you can see that data type of float is used here, and the parameter argument is called radius is used here. Okay, so one argument is being used, and that argument is going to be used to compute the area of a square, that is pi r square, pi r into r, that is 3.14 into radius into radius. So now this will be computed here, and it will be returned to the calling program as a float value. Okay, so first we define the functions like this. After defining the functions, now inside the main program, so what do we do here? We specify the cout statement, calling just only the cout statement, calling the area function for computing the area of a square. Side is equal to 5. Up to here it is just a string. It can be of anything. You can write area of a square also, you can write. Okay. So now here you can see that the function is actually called here at this point. You can see that area is the function. Now in this, the function to this function, what number 5 is passed. So how many arguments are there now for this area calling? Yes, there's only one argument. What type of argument is this? Then only one integer is there. Then what this will do? This function, okay, will select a function which is having only one argument. So only how many arguments? Only one argument. So then this will be made use. Similarly, you can see that the rectangle area, all these things are there. So when it comes to the computing area, when it comes to computing area, so two arguments are passed. Both the arguments are integer. Both arguments are integer, isn't it? So it will try to find a match. First one, if you look into it, it's only one argument, so this will not be used. This will not be used. Second one, if you look into it, yes, we have an area function with two integer arguments. Two integer arguments. Then this will be selected. This will be selected. Understand? This will be selected. Now the third one, if you look into it, the third one, what will happen? So this was find computing the area of a circle, isn't it? So area of a circle is going to be calculated here. How? By calling the area function. Now you see that what value is being passed. One argument. Only one argument you are using it. Okay, when it's one argument, first system will check this point, this function. When this function will look into it, what is there here? Integer. But it is a float. So this function will not be selected. Then with this next it will try for this function. Will it work? Because it's only one argument, so this also will not be made use. Then it will check for another function. Okay, when it checks for another function, it finds that yes, there is a function with an single argument, then single argument of float type. That is also here also it's a float type. Then obviously this function will be made use, and that will compute the value of a circle. Understand? So if you look into it, the area is common all the time. Okay, by using different formulas for the area, we can enable the area function to exhibit different functions for different shapes. For different shapes. Understand? Okay. Thank you.